Do we have footage, finally footage, of otherworldly beings, interdimensional creatures caught on film? That's what people are claiming. That's the videos that are out. And it's funny because yesterday we released a video of Luna, and she was talking again. She's been talking about interdimensional beings and how that's what they've been told that these things are. Well, there's a post that's been going around today, and I think even Stephen Greer had mentioned that this is legit as well too. Take that what you will, but let me read this, and then you guys we'll dive into it. We'll kind of go through this, and you guys can tell me what you think about it. All right, so this one is from ProPixel Video Analysis. No bullshit, this is real. Appears to be an interdimensional being. This one appeared during a session led by Mike Batista. This is real footage captured during a session. The chain of custody of the footage is known. This is not AI. This is not CGI. You're looking at something truly incredible. It appears there is a humanoid being standing behind a console. There are what seem to be warp or dimensional bubbles that are moving rotationally around back and forth and expanding and contracting. There appears to be 5 nested bubbles working to maintain an environment for the being. There's no other information to share other than Mike put out the call, they answered, and we recorded it. The further down the rabbit hole you go in this space, you'll find deeper levels of complexity and experiences. It's not just UFO and UAPs. There is an entire existence of reality that just sits beyond our reach. We get glimpses here and there and are now starting to be able to call to it and interact with it. Okay, so here's the video in question. Now, from what they're saying and the things that they're filming, I mean, it looks, you just see things kind of bouncing back and forth. Whatever that was there. And this is, again, they said this will help with seeing the humanoid in this. I mean, I don't really know what I'm looking at. You guys can maybe explain it if you feel that this is something more clear. So a little bit more of an explanation there. During the first few frames of the video, what is inside of the bubble is visible. The rest of the video is showing the fields that are surrounding it. It takes a while, but as you watch, you'll start to be able to see the bubbles. I mean, I guess is at the top there. Is it just saying that's what the... I mean, I guess I can see a little bit more clear what they're going for there. So it looks, I can see what they're saying now when you look at it. Now, if you go back and watch the video. Okay. Now we're seeing it. So what they're bouncing back and forth as the head is there. Body is kind of, I see what they're going for now. And there's that picture. So I guess this would, be the head here. With body with the back and forth. Okay, see what you're saying. This was in a field 150 feet away. It was stabilized. They quote Luna there, which is, we've been told these are interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. Nothing like an interdimensional being popping into our reality inside of nested dimensional bubbles, just standing there with its arms over a console controlling the bubble. Again, this is what it's saying it's doing. Now, I'm looking forward to, I believe that Greer had something to do with this too, saying that it was real. I thought I saw something earlier this morning talking about this particular thing, but he's talked about how they had the ability to be able to pull beings from other dimensions. I think this is one that he had a little while ago in an interview. So let me play this.
How do I even ask this? When we're talking other dimensions, what does that mean?
Well, the universe, let's call it the cosmos, it's described by astrophysicists as sort of this 3D thing. Now, if you look at quantum entanglement and the concepts of the universe being a holographic conscious entity, which it is, then you start talking about not just material, but you're also talking about other dimensions that are at refined levels of frequencies and vibration. So the speed of light, the speed of electrons, atoms, what have you, all of that would pertain to what we call the 3D, three-dimensional. If you were to cross over that in frequencies, and this is, again, where you start getting into some very strange WSFM, like I mentioned, phenomenon, then you're talking about other embedded dimensions. But it's not like it's some distant place, it's folded within. So, a hologram, if you look at a hologram, of Marilyn Monroe with her dress blowing up, like that. If you were to just zoom in on one little piece of that dress on the edge of her skirt, and zoom in on it, the entire image would be in there, and zoom in again, it's holographic. So you have to kind of get your mind around the cosmos is this conscious quantum hologram. And so there are many, many, many dimensions, not just this plane of 3 dimension, that is all enfolded within it. So a lot of the confusion happens where everything like something weird, like a poltergeist event, will be conflated with something extraterrestrial. Well, it isn't. It was someone who, like in the ER, I had this happen once, some guy that was killed, couldn't save him, it was murder, and he was angry, and at 3 a.m, he started taking all the stuff out of the cabinets. But he wasn't there. It was just his spirit. Weird stuff. So that kind of phenomenon isn't extraterrestrial, it's interdimensional. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay, so I'm trying to do some very kind of crude analogies, but the confusion comes in is that if you're an interstellar capable civilization, which means you're going from point A in the cosmos to here, B, it's like if this were a piece of paper, you're not going a straight line across the paper, you're folding the paper, being space-time.
Okay.
And so these 2 points are here.
I'm
right?
Enlightened now.
And so, but in the process of doing that, this sort of bending and altering space-time, you then bump up against and cross these other dimensions. And this is sort of the intersection between what some people call metaphysics and physics, or the conscious worlds and the worlds of light, if you will, the mystics would call astral, and extraterrestrial technologies. And it's a very interesting intersection. I find that the most interesting part of this whole subject, but it quickly, you have to be, you go in the crazy town way too quickly with a lot of people out there who don't know enough to talk about it intelligently, in my opinion. But it's also dangerous, and here's why it's dangerous. Those capabilities can be technologically stimulated to occur. It's like the Skinwalker Ranch. After a certain cell of this covert group got hold of that thing, they started setting up phenomena there. It's absolutely man-made, high-end electronics, but interdimensional. It's like the show Stranger Things. I've never seen it, but that's based on some weird stuff that went on at Montauk on eastern Long Island, the Montauk projects. And we know what those are. I know guys who've been in laboratories where they have a toroid or one of these devices, and suddenly they're pulling in spooky-looking creatures that look like they came out of the ninth ring of hell, and they literally become 3D and are running around the lab. Weird stuff. All right, so the high end of the WSFM is this sort of thing. But that can be used in a deceptive indication and warning. It can be used in a way that everyone on planet Earth would think that it's alien, and it isn't.
I see what you mean.
Okay, so this is the real danger in all of this not being disclosed and known, particularly by policymakers and the government and Pentagon and all these folks, is that they're not going to be able, they're going to be so easily gaslit and deceived by people presenting all kinds of phenomena, plural, as extraterrestrial when it isn't. Because they have mastered the ability of this, what's called stagecraft.
You got a bunch of other people that have been, commenting on this and looking at it, and it's saying that, some people saying, why did they film for only 60 seconds, 90 seconds? Why isn't there more of it? And where's the rest of the footage? And, look, all of that. I found the Stephen Greer stuff, actually, commenting on that, pretty fascinating, right? Because I've heard of the Montauk stuff and even heard the Duffer Brothers talk about how that was kind of inspired with the things that were rumored to have happened in Montauk and how that kind of led to the idea of interdimensional beings that they were pulling through and the upside down and all that stuff. I just wouldn't count anything out anymore because of the fact I just don't think we are smart enough, even our smartest person, to really know how the universe truly works. There are things that just happen, even with our sleep and thought process and consciousness, all these things that I believe that there's just a lot more tied into it. So when you're hearing Stephen Greer talk about the idea of other planes, other things that are happening, the story about the guy in the hospital doing the thing, and you've heard other stories like that in the paranormal, and that maybe there's more to that than it's just not just ghosts per se, as it is more to it where consciousness and energy and other things might just go. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's extraterrestrial. The idea, though, that interdimensional travel can be mastered by people who know how to use the technology, as you hear his explanations of how you could maneuver it, how you could do it, how the mechanics essentially work of it, and if somebody or something actually figured out a way to do that, then that could make sense. Now, I can't find the actual footage where I could have sworn I saw something that it was Greer saying that this footage was legit. I don't know. You guys can tell me. But when I was looking, I saw it this morning, I thought, and then I just tried to search it right now and I couldn't find it. But nonetheless, there's a lot of people saying that this particular footage that we looked at was indeed an interdimensional being. I don't know. Why did it show up, and then why is it just floating around going, hey, look at me. Record me as long as you can. Only like 60 seconds, so don't show you more than that. See you later. Again, not saying it's not legit. It's just, it took me a second or two to really figure out what the hell it was when I was looking, and they had to point it out and say, look at the head, look at this and that. And the first thing I do is go, I'm skeptical, but not shooting it off because I also wasn't there. That's the thing that I always think about too, because if you're there, you're recording this thing, you see this thing, you're pretty sure you know what you saw, and then you record it, you put it out there, and you get some jerk nod like me going, I don't know what it is, because be lights bouncing around the thing. I'm like, no, I saw it. He had a bouncing around. His head was there. He was watching. He was watching a World Cup. He invited us up. We just couldn't get up to go see him. Kidding, but you know what I mean. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't want to discount the circumstance that these people were in and what they saw and the experience that they had. But I look at that and I just go, it's the same thing, right? That we always keep getting for other footage. It's like, what is it? If you make it out, you pixelize it. And I just wish AI was good enough that, because now it's like, you're like, hey, Grok, make this clear and make it in HD. And then it's like Jerry Seinfeld playing tennis. And you're like, how the hell did that happen? It just like makes up this is what I think it should be. It's not what it actually is. I hope we get to the AI where it's like, it actually just can define what the hell it really is. So it's interesting. And as I've said many times over, that I believe way more so that it's possible for interdimensional, especially if you hear that explanation from Greer and how these things can work with technology, as opposed to light speed travel and all that. Some guy yesterday on the comments,
oh, this guy thinks that light travel, space travel is harder than interdimensional travel.
well, how do you know, Oppenheimer? Do you know? How do you know? I doubt it. I said, what do you know about quantum physics? Nothing. So we don't know. I don't know. You don't know. I just told you what I think. To me, it makes more sense that that's more possible. What do you guys think? What do you make of all of this? What do you think about the footage? Horse poop could actually be something. Very curious to hear what you think on this one. All right. Thanks for being here. Make sure you click like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back here tomorrow. Appreciate you. See you on the flip side.